When is a podcast not a podcast? Well, let's see. When it's a book, a video series, a community, or anything else that makes business sense as you expand your publishing empire. Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. This miniseries is about taking your podcast and using that to make something else, which is not a podcast. Don't stop doing your podcast. That's not what I'm suggesting with these. But like when I told you that you could use your podcast to make a fantastic live event, not just a live recording of your podcast, or how you could make an amazing newsletter, again, not just distribute your show as an email, which is fine, but actually a real live newsletter. Or you could also use it to make some amazing online learning, some audio-only learning experiences. All those are the options that we have for you. Now, that's just 3, and honestly, there's a lot more. I do 4-part miniseries because the show, right here, is only, 4 days a week. So I just want to do a catch-all. I want to do a kind of a roll-up of the other ones that I didn't talk about. So one is obviously, if you're already podcasting and you've built your audience and you want to get more knowledge out to people, why not write a book? You probably have a lot of information at your disposal. If you've recorded dozens or maybe hundreds of episodes, that's a lot of info. That's a lot of scripts. That's a lot of interviews if you've done that. That's a lot of knowledge you've done there. That's a lot of the research necessary to write a book. Now, don't just take your articles that you wrote for your website for each of your episodes and republish them as a book. I've done that. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. Use them as research. Again, the idea here is to build something new, build something in addition to your show. But a book is certainly one, especially with the rise, again, the resurgence, I suppose you should say, of audiobooks. Well, you're already doing an audio podcast, so now if you write this book, make it into an audiobook. Yep, that is a thing all over again. That's one. Here's an idea. How about a video series? I do not mean doing a video of you recording your podcast. That's not a good idea. Yeah, okay, I do that. I post a video of me doing this on YouTube, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm a fan of you just going ahead and finding a way to get your content on YouTube, but that's different. That's just using YouTube or other video services as a distribution platform. I mean making a video series. Whatever it is that you're an expert in, whatever it is that you know enough about to have a podcast, wherever your passions lie, think about making a video series. Again, not of your podcast, because no, that's kind of boring, but still, making compelling, interesting, video-based content that appeals to the algorithms of the day. Lots of cameras, lots of switching, lots of work. But if you're video-minded, if you can tell a compelling visual story, why not do a video series? And I don't just mean YouTube. I mean, you can do a visual series on TikTok if you want. It's a growing platform. Why not? But as I've said in previous episodes, it has to be focused content. Don't just repurpose it. Don't just think about it as a distribution channel. But if you have the wherewithal, why wouldn't you want to do that? If you can do that, take your podcast, take what you know from that, and create new content on these other channels. How about a community? There are lots of communities out there, Discord servers, Facebook groups, membership sites, lots of those things that you can do to get deeper involvement with your community, with the people that listen to your show. Way too often, I see podcasters throw together a community for their show with the express purpose of getting people to listen to the program. Well, that's not it. That's distribution, once again. That's using it as promotion and advertising. I mean creating something new. Creating a real community that your show is at the center of, but your show is not a required option. Listening to your show isn't required to be a part of the community. It's nice. It's wonderful. People do that. In fact, I think most people will do that, but still, it doesn't have to be that. That's not a requirement. The success of the community on its own should be the goal. The success of the video series on its own should be the goal. The success of the book that you have published should be its own measurement of success, not what those do for your podcast. I'm very much a podcast first kind of guy, and I get it, and I want you to be podcast first as well. But I also want you to think about things adjacent to that. As I've said in previous episodes of this program, the hub and spoke model is broken. You need to be making content in all the other places. Leverage what you know as a podcaster to do more things. But then let those things live on their own. Let them live on their own. Let them live and die by their own successes. You can take what you know from your podcast and make non-podcasted content. Newsletters, talked about that. Books, videos, communities. So many things you can do as a podcaster, taking the skills you have as a podcaster to create additional brand new content, not just for the promotion of your own show. Experiment with those. Try it. There are new things happening every day. But keep podcasting, pretty please, with sugar on it, because we like it when you do that. I hope you enjoyed this short mini-series on things you can do with your podcast beyond podcasting. If you want to talk about what you're doing, I'd love to hear about it. You can comment right here. I'll see the comments. You can also go to flick.group/podcastpontifications and have a conversation with the 70 or so people who have joined that group. Thanks for those. Oh, by the way, it's free to join that group. If you're enjoying the program, want to keep it going, I'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate it if you bought me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/evoterra. It's really, really nice when you sign up for a monthly coffee purchase from me. Yeah, the world runs on coffee. Me too. And then finally, if you are in business and you need someone helping you with the podcast strategy for your business, that's what my company, Simpler Media Production, does. Get in touch with me, evo@podcastlaunch.pro. Go to podcastlaunch.pro to see a list of the services we offer our clients. Enjoy your weekend. I will be back on Monday with a whole new series of things to talk about on Podcast Pontifications. Cheers.